Championship 2019-2020 season predictions review.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Very Biased Opinions. Well, with there being no football to talk about and the season still being in a state of hiatus, we've gone through and we've looked over the predictions that we made at the start of the season, and just to give a little view of where exactly we are. We've done League 2, we've done League 1, so now it's time to do the Championship. If you haven't seen the videos for League 2 and League 1, they are on the channel, so go and check them out. We are also going to timestamp every single one of the teams. So if you just want to jump ahead and see what we talk about for your specific team, you can do that. That was down in the description and in the comments as well. But I don't think there's anything else to gloss over. I must say, I actually think we've done pretty well. There's some we're way off the mark with, like with every league, but I'm going to go ahead right now and give myself a pat on the back. And I think you should do the same.
Well done, everybody. Well done, everybody.
We'll cut in not for every team, but we'll intersplice what we've said about certain teams where we're way off the mark or where we feel like it. But without further ado, or as Tom likes to say, gilding the lily, Ellie Moore. Tom, can you lead us in with the first club, please?
So currently, Barnsley sitting 24th in the Championship. They're on 34 points. They are 7 points off safety. We had them in 21st, which is the original position. So you could say we weren't totally accurate with it. But I'm going to give us a pass on this. We're within 3 to 4 positions, and I think when we're that close, it's really a toss-up. They've struggled, but they've won 3 matches recently, which has given them hope. So I don't see the point in going too deeply into this. That falls onto Luton Town. Luton Town we had in 18th. 18th is about 7 points off where they are right now as well. We did not actually select very well in the relegation zones, and I don't know what to say, Ian.
Well, if you want to, let's have a quick look at what we said about Luton and why we thought they might stay.
In 18th, newly promoted Luton Town.
Congrats to Luton.
We
Hip,
think they're going to have an alright year. Hooray. Manager Graham Jones took over in May. Hooray! Once the club were already promoted, he oversaw their move up to the Championship. They were hands down cream of the crop in League 1 last year.
Yeah, new manager, Luton fans. Do you think he's going to be the real deal? Let us know.
They kept their top scorer from League 1, who was also the top scorer in League 1, James Collins, with 25 goals. They've got to hope he scores in this league. Bookmakers have him a solid if unspectacular 17th. We have him in 18th.
It's been a struggle for them this season. I thought they would still have a bit more of a bounce from what they had last season, where they won League 1 very, very comfortably. The biggest thing for them has just been shipping goals. They've shipped so many goals this season. Their recent form, they've started to address that. Like Barnsley, both these clubs have won games recently. Games they weren't expected to win as well. And it's kind of given them still a good shot in the arm of staying up. But 71 goals conceded. There's been so many games where they've been in with a shout, and then they've just inexplicably just collapsed and let late goals in and thrown away points. So that's been a story of their season, and it's still up in the air. You never know, they've still got a chance. As at Barnsley, they've still got a chance to stay.
Yeah. So now we go to 22nd. We have Charlton Athletic on 39 points. They're 2 clear of safety. We had them in 24th, ending the season in the bottom of the Championship. Yeah, I don't know what else there is to say. New owners, new problems, FA investigation.
Yeah. Again, it's credit to Lee Bowyer for sticking with him. I mean, he could have easily jumped ship, and that's kind of the main thing, is he's sort of keeping it all together, because you get the feeling if he leaves, everything will just dissipate and they will go down. But yeah, again, as we always say, it's the fans who are the ones who suffer, and they're long-suffering Charlton fans, and they deserve to have all this crap behind them. I must say though, they started the season really well and have really nosedived.
Yeah, they've had a really tough time, but recently they've been on really poor form. But here comes our first L. Our first L of the round is Hull. We had them in 11th. They're currently in 21st on 41 points. They're a solid 12 or 13 points behind 11th place. Here's what we had to say about Hull at the beginning.
We have Hull City. Last season they were 13th. Manager is Grant McCann. They were very up and down. They're very streaky last season. Went on long unbeaten runs and then went on terrible losing streaks. Nigel Atkins was the manager, but he left because he said the board didn't share their vision. What does that mean? Who knows?
Get your crystal ball out.
They still got their main striker in Bowen, and I actually think they've made some good signings. Tom Eaves and Ryan Tafazoli. Sorry, terrible pronunciation. Should improve them, but they're still going to be a mid-table.
Fair.
Ian, I don't know. They haven't won since New Year's Day, right? Like, this is a club that if the league does get finished, you could see Hull and Charlton tanking, like completely tanking out. Barnsley and Luton have been on relatively good form. Barnsley obviously lost their last 2 matches, but you know, these 2 clubs have picked up wins recently. Hull have lost 4 of the last 5.
Again, the biggest thing of their season all seemed to hinge on Jarrod Bowen going to West Ham, and since then they've absolutely been a train wreck. And there's nothing, you know, we throw that around lightly, but they have been a train wreck. They've been in terrible form and look very strong candidates to be be going down this season. Maybe the break will do them some good and they can kind of like dust themselves off and come back stronger. But God, they won't want that form to carry on.
No, in the next one, I think we'll count this as a win. We had Wigan in 23rd. They are currently in 20th, but they are tied on points. They are on very good form right now. They've won 3 of their last 5. Scoring goals has been a problem, but recent form gives them hope that they'll definitely stay up. So that's Wigan in 20th. But here we come to another L. 19th place on 41 points, the same as Wigan and Hull, is Middlesbrough. We had Middlesbrough ending in 5th pre-season. Here's what we had to say.
Middlesbrough, managed by Johnny Woodgate. Last year 7th. We've got them sneaking into the playoffs this year. Tony Pulis was let go in May. They attempted to 1-0 the entire championship.
It was so boring.
It literally led to multiple fans going insane. No one was happy with it. No one outside of Middlesbrough was happy with it. Finally, they got rid of him. Is Johnny Woodgate going to bring a bit of flair to the north? Tell us, Middlesbrough. What do you think?
I don't get this one. I really don't understand this one. This one, it's like the season's never got going for them. It's like Woodgate's probably still searching for his best side, probably still searching for his best formation. I would be surprised if there's many Middlesbrough fans that still want him there. He doesn't look like he's done a very good job. Maybe the fact that he has got an affiliation with the club of being a player that's given him a bit more time. But yeah, this has been a massive disappointment season for them, and oh God, they're still not safe, but maybe only a couple of wins away from at least getting through to next season and having another shot.
Yes, they might be one of the biggest underachievers out of.
I think they are. I mean, based on what we said at the start,
yeah.
You have to say that they are. I mean, Middlesbrough fans, let us know, please. If there's any Middlesbrough fans to watch this video, let us know what's going on.
The next team, we don't need to look at what we said preseason. Me and Ian felt very strongly preseason that the team in 18th, Huddersfield Town, we had them in 17th, would not have a strong year. They looked at best a middling championship club. That's what they've become. Sacked their manager, brought in the Cowley brothers. It's going to take them time to weed out the bad blood. Do you have something to say, Ian?
Temple Cowley brothers.
They got the Temple Cowley brothers in, and they're doing exactly how we thought. People had them for automatic promotion. People, when we came out with this video, didn't seem very happy with us. But Huddersfield fans, tell us what you think, because you can't truly be surprised, can you? You lost the best player to Brighton.
I think we've got that one absolutely spot on of what we did for Huddersfield.
Oh, and it's another win directly below that, because we had the 17th place Stoke City in 15th. Ian, we are on a roll here, outside of the Middlesbrough and Hull projections.
Well, I think that this one I have to give you a lot of credit for, because I would have put Stoke higher, and I think you were the one who said you just see them as a real middle of the pack, middle to lower half table side.
Yeah.
And they're lucky they got Michael O'Neill in from Northern Ireland, because he seems to have literally made them a little bit more steady.
Yeah.
To maybe try and then go again next season, because the start of the season when they had, I forget the name of the guy. He was the guy they got in from Luton the year before, but they started terribly. And how they started, you'd have thought they'd be a shoo-in to get relegated this season. So they should be happy that they are where they are and not in a relegation zone.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. And O'Neill is the difference, and he's now there full time. He's left his role, so that's good news for them. Another victory, though, comes in 16th place with Birmingham City. We originally had them in 20th, which is pretty close to where they are anyway. Honestly, it's the Pep Clotet slide. I know you love that. That's actually your catchphrase, registered, trademarked, and all that, Ian. Anything you want to say on Birmingham?
Yeah, Pep Clotet, Oxford, he started wonderfully. We had some great wins, we were playing good football, and then it all just seemed to cool off, and then it got then very stale, and things started to turn quite bad quite quickly. So, Birmingham, is that happening with you? Let us know, fans, let us know in the comments.
I think we can probably take this as an almost maybe, but not a win. Currently in 15th is Sheffield Wednesday. We had them in 9th. Here's what we had to say.
Sheffield Wednesday, who don't have a manager. Last season ended in 12th. We got them in 9th this year. Stephen Fletcher staying on with 11 goals. His best days do look behind him, though. No current manager. Chris Hughton is the current favourite to take the job from the Owls. They are expected to replicate their season almost exactly. Bookmakers have them in 11th. We have them in 9th.
They started 2020 in 6th, and they've just completely...
I have a lot to say about this, actually.
Oh, please go.
I have a lot. I don't know how Gary Monk keeps getting high-profile jobs, because I just don't see that he does a very good job. He comes in and, a little bit like we said about Clotet, he seems to do an amazing job at the start, and then it just seems to temper off very, very quickly. This is exactly what happened at Swansea, and it's the same thing here. I mean, they were really good at the start, and since the new year, they've been poor, and I bet you they'll get to the end of the season, Gary Monk will walk away, and he'll end up with another high-profile job somewhere. But, what's he done to prove it?
Is he Alan Pardew 2.0?
At least Pardew took sides up.
True. Oh well, enough reminiscing on our failures, because in 14th place is Reading on 48 points. We had them in 16th. Not a lot to say at that point. New manager, they're still average, no one's surprised, and everyone just wishes Waitrose still sponsored them so they had nicer food at the stadium.
Yes, I always think that if I close my eyes and think average Championship side, Reading is the first side that comes to my mind.
It is time for an L, and I'm going to have to take the one on this one because I remember this clearly. In 13th place, currently on 50 points, is Queen's Park Rangers. Originally pre-season, we had them 22nd. Here's what I had to say.
QPR are going down.
The Queen's Park Rangers.
The Queen's Park Rangers are going down.
No.
They're out. Also, interesting fact about Mark Warburton, at the end of his career, he played football in America, in Chicago.
That is amazing.
Amazing thing. Most of their players have left. It's been a mass desertion. Bookmakers have them staying in 16th. We can't see it. We think they're going down. Last season, 19th. This season, 22nd.
Let us know, QPR, Wigan, Charlton fans. Let us know what you think. What's happened to your clubs? Do you think you'll be better than that? Let us know in the comments.
I remember pre-season. I remember it like it was yesterday. Heady times, excitement, a whole season, no COVID-19, no problems in the world, just fun, merriment. And a QPR side I was convinced were running to the ground and we're going to completely pull apart this season, despite you saying, no, they'll be mid-table. And I put my foot down and I said, no, they're going down. And as we built the table, QPR just kept getting pushed back and pushed back until they were in 22nd. And I don't know what I was thinking. I am going to go out on a limb and say that I'm very biased in my opinion. Wells, Hugill, Easy. They're all in double figures for goals. They've been great entertainers. They've been a perfectly serviceable side. Is there anything you want to add to my failings?
Not really. Just, Mark Warburton's competent manager, and I think he's done a good job there. And then again, QPR, at least it's not boring. QPR, I mean, you've had some absolute freak games this season.
Yeah. So one we were pretty close on, but we'll probably delve into a little bit. In 12th is Derby. We had them in 7th pre-season. Here's what we had to say.
Derby County. Obviously, the big story was the worst kept secret in football that Frank Lampard would join Chelsea. I don't know why they ever tried to deny it was happening. Philip Cocu has come in. You've got to be concerned. I mean, it's a very random appointment. I'm not sure where that's really come from. Obviously, they were beaten playoff finalists last season. They have lost some of their players that were good for them last season, like Mason Mount hasn't come back, Harry Wilson, Craig Bryson, David Nugent. They still do have a decent squad. They haven't signed too many new players. I'm just not sure about Cocu. It's an outside finish for them in the playoffs. It's outside the playoffs finish for them in 7th.
It's Rooney, isn't it? Rooney's been the big difference, it seems to be, whether on the field, off the field. He seems to have taken that club by the scruff of the neck and turned it from what might be a season where they flounder in the lower half to relegation zone up to where they've got an outside chance of the playoffs. They've been really good since the new year. I'm still not convinced Philip Cocu should be the manager, but they look a hell of a lot better than they did at the start of the season, and it'll be interesting in these next 10 games because they've got just as good at outside. Well, they got an outside chance, but if they carry on playing the way they're playing, they could even sneak into the playoffs again.
I think it's worth quickly talking about how club captain Richard Keogh was sacked near the beginning of the season.
Oh yeah, they had their internal dramas. Yeah, that's true. They did have that.
And I think that really leading up to now has hurt them. Obviously, I think with him still in charge, it's him still at the club, and if a lot of things hadn't gone the way they had, we might see a Derby side that played better up to this point. But anyway, Derby, originally we had them in 7th, they're in 12th. In 11th, a win for Ian and Tom, because Swansea City currently sit in 11th with 53 points. We had them in 10th. I count that as a pretty good win. Goals are a problem. They're only 3 points off the playoffs. We've done pretty well here, I think. Do we count this as a win?
Yeah, no, they've been good this season, Swansea.
In 10th, Blackburn Rovers on 53 points. Again, I count this as a win for us. We had them in 13th. That's pretty damn close. They're improving year on year under Tony Mowbray. There's not a huge amount to say outside of that. What we said pre-season has pretty much stayed strong.
Yeah, I just think they're a really good side, very solid, very comfortable. I think they're like everybody seems like relatively happy there. They don't seem to have any ownership problems. Mowbray's improved the side year on year, and fans seem quite happy with the gradual improvement. And probably a side, probably not unlike a kind of a Burton Albion in League One, just extremely solid.
There you go. Ian, I don't count this as an L, but I count this as a huge surprise. In 9th, currently sit Cardiff City on 54 points. We had them in 4th. Here's what we had to say pre-season.
Is Cardiff, and we have them getting back into the playoffs, not getting an automatic spot. Obviously, they were relegated last season. Neil Warnock staying on is a big boost.
Is he wearing pants?
Oh, let's hope we can, but hope.
Championship predictions. Neil Warnock takes his pants off.
But we actually last season we thought he'd be one of the first managers that would leave in the Premier League. So he did really well. He quitted the whole club with all the bad things that happened last season. Acquitted themselves really well. Yeah. They've still got a squad that's got a lot of proven quality Championship players. Bamba, Hoylett, Reed, Morrison. Tom's man crush, Etheridge, is still in goal.
He's on my computer. A little picture of him.
They've strengthened at the back with Flint and Volks. And Curtis Nelson. Oxford's Curtis Nelson has gone there. Let us know what you think about him. And you'll be in the playoffs for us.
Again, I mean, similar to Derby, it's a side that have improved a lot. They obviously, Warnock left middle of the way through the first part of the season. He clearly just didn't have the stomach for the fight anymore. He looked like he just ran out of gas, which is like he's over 70, so give him a little bit of credit. And Neil Harris has come in and done a really good job. He's rejuvenated it a bit. They've become very hard to beat, and they've climbed up the table. Still could get into that playoff berth, so by the end of the season this might be a win for us, Thomas. You never know, but they certainly you've always got to be wary of those sides who come up on the rails and have a stronger second half of the season than the ones the ones who flounder, and there are a few that are floundering that we'll get to in a second.
Here is a massive failing on our part. In 8th place sit Millwall. We had them in 19th place. Here's what we said pre-season.
Millwall under Neil Harris. Last season they were 21st. We have them improving by 2 places. He's entering his 5th year at the club. This is a solid club with a really good base. They're known for being well supported, which really helps them. They lost their top scorer to Stoke, Gregory. They shipped so many goals last year. It's painful. They're lucky the 3 teams below them were abysmal. Bookmakers have them in 20th. We have them in 19th, Millwall.
Ian, again, I feel you're probably better set to explain this than me, who just wants to look at a wall and then hit his head into it.
I mean, yeah, we called this one really wrong, and they've been a massive surprise package. And credit to Millwall, they've done really well. Gary Rowett has come in and done a really good job there. It's like Neil Harris jumped and went to Cardiff and has improved them, and Gary Rowett's done the same thing. He's come into this Millwall side after a couple of failings in recent years at jobs, and yeah, they've been excellent. Very, very, very hard to beat, just as you would expect a Millwall side to be, really. Tough to play against, and again, could have an outside chance of getting in the play. I mean, imagine Millwall in the Prem. Look out, Premier League.
Look out, West Ham.
Look out, West Ham. Look out, Man United.
I want to win here, so we're going to talk very quickly about 7th place on 55 points is Bristol City. We had them in 6th pre-season. They are 1 point off that. They are right there. They're breathing down the throat of Preston North End. And Preston North End is the team we really need to talk about. So let's talk about 6th place on 56 points. We're into the playoffs here. We had Preston North End. North End?
Yes.
Preston North End.
David Beckham's old club.
Right. We had them in 12th. Here's what we said pre-season.
Preston North End. Last season ended in 14th. We had them at just about the same place. Alex O'Neill's in his 2nd year at the helm of the Lily Whites. They've kept their 2 joint top... Oh, no, they've kept...
How long did it take you to find their nickname?
It took ages, honest to God. Who knew they were the Lily Whites?
I didn't know that.
Tell us if you knew that. They kept one of their joint top scorers, Brown, but they lost Robinson to Sheffield United, which is a blow. They're about as good at the back as they are at the front. They had a goal difference of 0, which is not a common thing to see in football, so...
Yeah, middle of the pack, doesn't it?
Exactly. Bookmakers have them in 14th. They're the one team they expect to end exactly where they ended this year.
Ian, would you agree that they have completely overperformed and may be running into problems now?
Yeah, they have done. They've been wobbling of late. They're one of the sides we're talking about that are floundering a little bit.
4 of 5. They've lost 4 of their last 5 matches. The other one they won, which is helpful, but it's definitely an L thus far, but easily based on how close the table is. I mean, they're only 5 points off where we had them pre-season. It could bend them back there. These things could happen.
I like Alex Neil. I think he's a good manager. I think he did a really good job at Norwich when he got them up into the Premier League, and doing a good job at Preston.
In 5th place is Nottingham Forest, 60 points. We had them in 14th. Here's what we had to say pre-season.
Nottingham Forest. Wow, Forest. Wow. How much do you hate your owner? Like, honest to God, he's a nutcase.
I actually heard, like, I know they got rid of O'Neill. I actually did hear, like, quite a few Forest fans were quite glad that he left. Because
they went through 3. They went through 3. They went through Karenka, then they went to O'Neill, and now they got the incumbent Sabri Lamucci. How long he lost is beyond both of our crystal balls.
I don't know who he is.
The ownership is nuts. They kept their top scorer, Lewis Graben, who had 16 goals, which is a pretty decent thing. Bookmakers have him in 12th. I honestly think they're going to be lucky to be mid to top of that.
Treading water as a football club.
Yeah,
absolutely,
without a doubt.
I seem to remember you being quite adamant that Forest are a bit of a spent force.
But they're managed. The actual people in charge of the club are clearly nuts. Like the upper management, the ownership is completely insane, and I just couldn't see in a league as intense and hard to play in as Notts Forest having these nutcases running your team would be helpful. But Lewis Graben's got 17 goals. They've done pretty well to this point. They're not on the greatest form, but they're nothing close to like a Preston or a Hull or a Charlton's recent forms. I think yet again, I have to take a loss on this because I distinctly remember this and QPR were my 2 picks of no, do what I damn well want. And you did in a...
So what you're saying, Tom, is you use nothing but pure logic on this football club. And but then you realise that football just never gives you any logic. It is you were absolutely right. Nottingham Forest, they shouldn't be as high as they are. But I must say, I know a few Forest fans. They're the most defeatist bunch of fans. It's like any time, probably more that Leeds are quite similar to that, but they're doing too well for their fans to kind of care. Every time they get in, they have one defeat. It's like, oh, that's it, season over, terrible, we've lost it, that's all the momentum gone. Go on.
A little bit like Oxford fans? Let's get into this because 3 of these we've nailed on the head and the 4th one we're pretty close with. So currently in 4th is Brentford on 60 points. We had them in 8th, just outside the playoffs originally. I don't really think we need to go into this one. We're not that far off it. They're a great side, rated Oxford for a couple good players.
Yeah, I need to go into that. Those fuckers rating Oxford for 2 players, absolutely stealing Baptiste and Fosu from us. What's your deal, Brentford?
How dare you do good business? How dare you?
Great, couldn't even give us a player back the other way, or maybe they did, I don't know. Actually thought maybe, I don't know.
They've got the best goal difference in the championship right now. They're playing really well. They're definitely in with a shout, and they look like they'll probably be in the playoffs come the end of the season.
Thieves!
What?
Thieves!
Right, so this has been fun doing this channel with Ian, but I'm looking for a new co-host. If you're available, please send us a direct message. Right, Ian, are you ready for the triumphant just walk up to the throne room? Because in 3rd place on 64 points is Fulham. Ian, can you remind me where we had Fulham?
We had Fulham. We had Fulham in 3rd place, Thomas.
Sensational. Just just so you know, if you want to pick forecasts for the top 3 in the league, call us before. We'll give it to you.
Oh my God! Another team that had a horrible season last season. They tried to spend, well, didn't try. They did spend a ton of money trying to just sort of like buy their way up the Premier League. It absolutely didn't work. They got rid of, went through 3 managers in the end, didn't they? We didn't work with Ranieri. Jokanovic, I can't remember the name of the first guy.
Yeah,
I can't
no
even
one
remember.
remembers him.
No one remembers him now, but he did get them up. So now they've ended up with Scott Parker. Again, he's one of those managers. He's a bit of a mixed bag. He's an unproven manager. He's a Fulham legend, but you don't know what you're going to get. They still, because they spent so much money, they still do have a strong squad, and they've still got the nucleus of that squad that actually brought them up in the first place. They've still got Sessegnon, still got Mitrovic, which is very important, still got Kearney. I think all Fulham fans would like to see them play a lot more attacking football like they did when they finally went up, as opposed to the defensive style that Ranieri did.
Because currently in second on 70 points is the WBA, the West Bromwich Albion. Ian, can you remind me where we had them?
I believe we had West Bromwich Albion in second place, Thomas.
Correct. Only 5 losses this season. They've been nothing short of phenomenal.
West Bromwich Albion, managed by Slavan Bilic. He's the new manager. It's a coup for them. Ex-West Ham, ex-Croatia manager. Highly regarded, despite whatever happened at West Ham. Dwight Gale scored 23. Jay Rodriguez scored 22 last year. Between the two of them, 45 goals. This is a team firing on all cylinders. They're the second highest scorers. They did concede the most, though, out of the top 10. So it's going to be a bit tough, but with the goal scorers and the team they have, we think that they will take second place. Bookmakers say fourth, we say second, West Bromwich Albion.
And in first on 71 points, Ian, tell me who's there.
Leeds United.
Where did we have Leeds United pre-season?
I believe we had them in 24th.
Correct, we had them in first. What a fantastic finish to this league. I honestly know it sounds ridiculous, but when you're predicting stuff and it comes 8 months down the line and your top 3 are bang on, you feel pretty good.
Marcelo Bielsa's Leeds. Last year in third after a calamitous end to the season. Spygate seemed to pull them apart. They're the best team.
I don't know about that. That happened early on in the season. I think they just seem to have this really weird end.
They just fell apart.
Inexplicably
And then
lost
there was
games.
the own goal.
Oh yeah, that's
whatever.
a silly game against Villa.
But they're favourites from the league. They're the bookmakers' favourite. Kemar Roof comes back, 15 goals last year. They score from everywhere.
Oxford
They're
legend.
a good team.
We love you. Come back to Oxford.
They play good football, and so that's it. Leeds in first.
You like Bielsa, don't you?
I do.
You really like
He's
him.
a good manager.
He is a good manager.
He's a good manager.
But you like all the Spygate thing. You like the fact he was just like, every team does it. Get over it.
He was honest. How often is a football manager honest?
Exactly. Finally, Leeds United, you get back into the Premier League after what seems like forever. Your fans deserve it. You deserve it. Of course, this is going to happen because me and Tom have predicted it.
Really, I'm happy for Leeds, especially out of all of that. I know we'll put in what we said about all of these clubs, but I know you're a fan of Bielsa. I just think it looked like Leeds United had done their thing where they had a strong start and then it looked like they'd hit the wall and had a wobble, but they've been incredible in the last few games, and I really hope that they go back into the Premier League. They, for me, are... You hear that phrase a lot of they're a Premiership side. This side's a Premiership side. But for me, Leeds should be a Premier League side.
That's how they got Bielsa. They're a Premiership side. They have more support than anyone in the... you could literally put 2 grounds together in the Championship and you wouldn't get Leeds' following support.
And the size of their club and the history of their club, and it's just going to be awesome to have those derby. I mean, don't underestimate that Leeds and Man United derby. That's a very, very, very big derby that used to be a big feature of the Premiership in the early years. It's gone by the wayside. Also with Liverpool as well. It's going to be exciting to say, and I just hope they hold on and they do go up because they deserve it. And their fans deserve it. And if you think, sorry, I'm ranting, but you think of how there's been a whole generation of Leeds fans that have grown up and never known them as a Premier League side, and that's fucking incredible for just a few years where they run the club badly. These fans have had to suffer for 20 years now. Get them back in the Premier League.
That being said, I'm excited. West Bromwich Albion, they're pretty much a Premier League side. They're a bit of a yo-yoer. Leeds are a definite Premier League side. And then outside of Preston North End, I'd love Fulham, Brentford, or Nottingham Forest to make it up.
I always quite like a new side to go up.
Yeah,
another side that's never been in the Premier League, so I'd quite like a Preston or someone like a Millwall, Bristol City.
I think you want Bristol City to go up though, Ian, because then they definitely won't take Taylor back.
True. But I think they should just give him up anyway. Let him go where he wants to go.
He wants to be with us.
And let Callum O'Dowda come back to Oxford as well. You never play him.
Oh my God. Right. Ian, it has been a pleasure doing this with you. All that's left to say is to yet again thank all of you who've watched, subscribed, clicked like, commented. Please comment on these. We really do appreciate the feedback. You may be like, we're not good at blogging or whatever you think, but we can't get better without a little bit of feedback and a little bit of a conversation as well, because, you know, we covered what, 91 professional football clubs in about a 2-day window preseason. It's tough. How many are there?
Yeah, I think 90. It's 92, including the Premier League. So we've done like.
So there's no Barry. There's no Barry anymore.
Right, we haven't done the Premier League yet.
No, preseason we did that. So we're gonna get some stuff wrong. We don't know everything about every club, but I think we've accounted for stuff well. And thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And you came here looking for detailed football analysis. You bloody nailed it.